Today we are transforming this basic bottle brush tree into a spectacular mini Christmas tree. All we need is a bit of Santa's magic. Hello, my crafty dolls. Welcome to my craft room. I am so glad you're here because today I have an amazing hack to turn these cheap bottle brush trees into this amazing, realistic Christmas tree for your dollhouse. So if you're new here, welcome. I am Grandma Katie, and this channel is dedicated to all things dollhouse miniatures. I also have an Etsy shop where I design and create digital printable miniatures for your dollhouse. You simply go over to my Etsy shop. I have a link right in my bio. You download your favorite design and print it out. There are so many fun and easy projects to put together. Then you come right back here to this channel. I have fun tutorials on some of my designs along with tips and tricks for your dollhouse. So if you love dollhouse miniatures as much as I do, please hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you back. So I got out my dollhouse Christmas decorations and I got my tree out and I realized, wow, this is really, really bad. My ornaments are just hot glued on. It just looks terrible. And I thought we can do better than this. There's got to be a way to make it more realistic. And the hack I'm going to show you today, we are going to use the exact same tree. We're going to turn it into this realistic tree. Now, in my opinion, to make a tree look realistic, those ornaments have to dangle. They just have to. That is the secret to making these trees look real. So come on over. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. It's not hard. And my crafty dolls, you are going to be amazed at this Christmas magic. All right, here is my old Christmas tree. You can see it up close. You can tell that it's all hot glued and oof, it doesn't look good, guys. And that's what's so frustrating about, miniature Christmas trees. We just can't get it right. So we are going to transform this and make it better. I am still going to use the same tree. So this is just one of those, Christmas village trees. And this one is a little thinner. You can see the wire on the inside, which is fine. This one is 9 inches tall, and I am going to put lights in here. So I feel like the ones that are thinner are going to show off the mini lights a lot better. And the technique I'm going to show you today, you can use any tree. So if you do have the more thicker trees, that is just fine. Even the trees that are painted, you can use as well. This one does have a little bit of big chunk of paint up here. I'm going to try to get that off because we're going to be putting some greenery in here, and that might deter me a little bit. But it doesn't matter what tree or what size you use. You can even use the little itty bitty ones. So maybe a Christmas tree in each room, I think. I think that's what we're going to do. So first, we are going to put the lights in. So it's just going to be a lot easier. So that is the first step. Just going to use those, mini lights that you find for your miniature tree over at Michael's. I bought these. And this is 9 feet, which is plenty big. I can wrap these lights around this 9-inch tree about 2 times. So perfect, perfect. Now, the only problem with these lights is the giant battery pack. I mean, it just astonishes me that we need all these batteries to light these tiny little lights, but here it is. So if you are unable to sort of hide this in your dollhouse, why don't we make it into a present? I'm going to show you quickly how to do that. Just got a little bit of scrapbook paper. You can use wrapping paper, whatever you want, doesn't matter. And our ugly battery pack. And before I even start, I want to tape this right onto my paper so it's not going to be sliding, because we're going to make a notch in the paper for the switch. So I don't want this moving forward on me, so I can't seal the edge of the box. There we go. Now I'm going to adjust that switch. I'm going to fold this over and then fold it back, and then I can see where that switches. I'm regretting my thick scrapbook paper, but I think it'll be fine. It'll work. Just cut that hole. It does not need to be fancy, that is for sure. And if you need to put new batteries in here, well, we're just going to have to unwrap it. It'll be just fine. Now the cord, we're just going to wrap this just like a normal present on the side here. And that cord should just kind of fit right into the gap of that flap there. Oh. There. So this is really going to be on the bottom. So the top looks pretty good. I'll just seal up the other end. Hey, not bad. Doesn't look bad. You can still turn it on and off. Maybe a bow. I think a bow would be nice. Very, very nice. Now that ugly battery pack looks like a nice present. And it's huge. I mean, compared to our Christmas tree, whoever is getting this present is one lucky kid, I swear. All right, we're going to take our lights. I got them on. And we're going to take our tree and we're going to kind of put them on in the inside. So not on the edge, but really on the inside of your tree. Just going to wrap that around. There we go. And then at the end, you just kind of want to find another of those wires and kind of squeeze them together. There we go. Step one is done. So now we need to talk about the greenery. We have to buy the right greenery. And you want something that is flat, like an arborvitae or a cypress tree. You don't want to use spruce, you know, it's more of a round branch. See how it's nice and flat. And that is going to come into play when we make our tree. And you can see, if you can just imagine this tiny little, those are going to be the tiny little branches on our tree. That is what you want to look for. And I bought this, it's called Cypress Bush. I bought this at Walmart. Walmart never fails me. I always find what I need at Walmart. So this was like $4 and I got just what I needed. And this is going to give our, you know, scrubby pine tree a very vintage Christmas look. All right, now we got the fun part. We're gonna start assembling our tree. So grab a piece of your flat greenery, and first we're gonna cut off the tip of this greenery here. We're gonna save this for later. Okay. And you just keep going down the line here. This has wire in it. And you can do this ahead of time, or you can do it as you're assembling the tree so you know exactly how to cut them. You just want those little fan pieces like that. So we have our little fan pieces, just like that. And when you get further down the branch, they're just going to get bigger. So the bigger pieces we're going to use for the bottom of the tree. If you imagine this is your tree, and here are the branches coming out. All right, you have your pile. You can sort your pile. That might even be better. You kind of get the bigger fans versus your smaller ones. So the smaller ones are going to be more towards the top of the tree. The bigger ones are going to be at the bottom of the tree. So you might want to sort those out. Once you have your bigger ones, we're going to start at the bottom of our tree. And I am going to just use my tacky glue for this. I'm not going to use hot glue. I learned my lesson with this tree. Look at that. You can see all the glue. It looks terrible. I can look at all the hot glue spider webs that are coming off here. So I just don't even want to use hot glue. Now, I'm going to take your bigger fans and we're going to stick them right in the bottom. And we're just going to kind of see how it looks before we glue. And I want to show you sort of the profile of the bottom here. So you want all the ones on the bottom to be on the same row here. Now when you look at it in profile, you can see that it juts out almost like a ½ inch, maybe even an inch. And that's okay. That's what you want. We want those branches to be coming out so then we can hang our ornaments. They have something to hang on to, which is the problem with these trees. You can't hang any ornaments. You have to glue them on. So once you are satisfied with the length of those pieces, we're going to glue those in. Take those out. And all I'm going to do is just put a little bit on the tip. And then kind of squish those branches in out of your way and try to get to the center of your tree. Make sure it's all nice. And of course our, scrubby tree is going to hold that in position. So there you go. There's part one. But there you go. So then you just keep working your way around the bottom of the tree. And of course this glue is going to dry nice and clear, so you're not going to see anything. And if you want, make sure it looks good before you put the glue on it. That's all good. I like to just squeeze my glue and then dip it. All right, looking good so far. So I'm going to go ahead and do that layer. I'm going to work all the way around. Here is the bottom. Look at that. Already looking like a real Christmas tree. And the only hard thing to deal with is the battery pack. Always got to move this around. But so far, so good. We have the top view of that. We can see our Christmas tree starting to fan out. And you just imagine our ornaments hanging off our branches. So now we're just going to go to the next layer. And you just want to find sort of those gaps. So I have a little bit of a gap here on the bottom. So we're going to put this branch maybe right here. And we're going pretty much right over it. You can see. It's so nice using these trees. It just holds everything in place. So as long as you get it to where you want it. And then this one, of course, is going to be a little shorter coming out than this one. Just like a real tree. Looking good so far. So again, working around, and you want to keep these in the same layer as your first layer. And it's okay if you got a big gap in between your little fan branch here. That's okay. Now your lights, you got to make sure those are pushed on the inside. They might get in your way. And there's the second layer. And I do have, you can see there's a gap here, which is okay. You want a gap because if the branches are too close together, we're not going to be able to hang our ornaments. So here is a really nice gap. So we can hang an ornament from here and it can dangle without touching this branch. So that is what you want, a really nice gap in between there. So now it's just a matter of working the way up to the top of the tree. So cue the tree montage. And here's our tree almost done. Doesn't that look good? You can really see now here, you see those gaps in between those branches, and that's where our ornaments are going to hang. So when you get to the top, you're going to take your little fan branches here, and we're just going to take the small pieces out. So as you get to the top of the tree, you're going to go shorter and shorter and shorter. And I did save some of those tips from the branches, and I'm going to use those two for just around the top. All right, our tree is getting full. So the very, very tippy top, I don't know, depending on if you want to put a star up there or you can just leave it there. I am going to put these little more spiky greens at the top. So I'm going to go kind of glue these around to kind of give that spiky look at the top of the tree. All right, here's our tree. And I got it on a white background so you can really see those branches, and you can see how they are jutting out. And we have all that room to dangle our ornaments from. And I'm just going to go back, and I see a couple spots here that could use a little bit more branches. I'm just going to go back and fill those in. But compared to my old tree, what a difference so far. Wait till we get all the ornaments on and the ribbon and the garland. It's gonna look amazing, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go back and do a little tweaking, and then we're gonna start putting on some of that garland, and then we're gonna make ornaments. And make sure you let your branches dry overnight. Okay, so now before I show you how to do the garland, I want to show you that you can use this technique on any size tree. So I really got to thinking, my dollhouse has 7 rooms. So of course, I need 7 Christmas trees in each room, all different sizes, and of course, I'm going to need 7 different themes. So I have my large traditional tree that we've been working on. I'm going to put that one in my living room. And then I'm going to put this small tree in the kitchen, and I'm going to decorate it with gingerbread men and candy. And then I made a medium-size Christmas tree, and this one I'm going to put in my little girl's room of the dollhouse. And I'm going to decorate it with pink and red ornaments. Just imagine all of the possibilities, all the different themes that we can make. Okay, so now let's get back to our big traditional tree. So now if you want to put garland or ribbon on your tree, you have to put it on before your ornaments. Now you can use just about anything. Here I just have some Christmas twine from the wrapping paper section. I have a string of beads, and this was really convenient because I bought them and they were already strung. Makes it super nice. You can use satin ribbon, which I know you have some of this in your craft room. Now if you're feeling a bit extra crafty, you can make your own garland. I made my own string of popcorn and cranberries. I made the popcorn by using a piece of styrofoam, and when you look really close, it has those tiny little balls. You just peel those off and you get the perfect piece of popcorn. And this is why us crafters can never throw anything away, because garbage can always be useful in the craft room. It's a real problem. I simply strung 2 tiny little red beads in between my little pieces of styrofoam popcorn, and I have the perfect little garland. I'm going to use this popcorn string for my pink and red Christmas tree. Now, if you want traditional garland, those good old-fashioned pipe cleaners work the best. These you find over in the kid craft section of the store, and you can get these in as many colors as you can imagine. Now, the garland needs the perfect swag. So in order to achieve this, you are going to scrunch the pipe cleaner together accordion style in about a 1/2 inch loops, as tight as you can, and making sure the loops are the same size. Then you gently pull the pipe cleaner and you are going to have the perfect swags for your Christmas tree. Now for my traditional big tree, I'm going to use a string of beads, and then I'm going to use one of those pipe cleaner garlands. You want to put your garland, your ribbon, your beads, whatever you're using, you want to put it more towards the inside of your tree, right on the edge of that original bottle brush tree. In between your layers of branches around the tree, we have those little gaps, and that is exactly where you want to tuck in your garland. And my garland is going to fit perfectly in between those gaps. It's got the perfect swag. And for this tree, I did 4 strands of beads every other, and then I did 4 strands of the garland. My crafty dolls, look at the tree so far. It looks amazing even without the ornaments on. And who knew that this was just your old standard bottle brush tree? And this has me thinking, without the ornaments and just the garland, this would make a perfect Christmas tree on my dollhouse porch. Okay, now we have come to the fun part, making the ornaments. Now, some people love clothes or getting their nails done. Oh, not me. I can spend hours browsing the craft store, especially all the glass beads. And Crafty Dolls, this is probably the hardest part of the project, is picking out the perfect beads that look like mini ornaments. And of course, trying not to buy too many. So to make sure we don't overspend, I'm going to give you a couple tips on what to look for when buying beads. Look for strands with multiple colors so your money will go a lot further. My traditional tree is going to have many different colors on it. So this strand is perfect. It's the rainbow and it has 7 different colors. You don't have to buy the traditional Christmas colors. Now, a lot of the beads do come in one color, but try to find ones that have multiple sizes. And that's really going to give our tree a more realistic look, is having different sized ornaments. All of these beads I'm showing you so far, they're all glass beads. So they're a little bit more pricey, and these are about $12, and this one has 4 strings in them with 4 different sizes. It really is hard to pick out these beads for your ornaments, but just remember, try to pick out 3 sizes. You want large, medium, and small. And you will get lucky. Sometimes you find a bead that looks exactly like a mini ornament. And these are perfect because they have 6 different colors. It's like a little ornament set. Now, to stretch my money, I ran over to the kid section of the craft store and I found a bag of these plastic beads. And I tell you, they look like antique beads. I absolutely love these and I think they're my favorite. And the bag has 2 sizes and multiple colors. Now, don't forget to pick up some tiny little beads. Now, these are great for filler. You can make tiny little ornaments with these. And of course, you're going to need these to anchor your bigger beads because a lot of times the hole is too big. Sewing pins make really good ornaments as well. These are the pearl pins, and I also can use the other stick pins with the plastic ends. They come in multiple colors. I just have the white, and these are going to be great for filler. So we're not going to use all those expensive beads on our tree. Necklace charms over in the jewelry section make great ornaments, especially if you're going for a themed Christmas tree. Cheap earrings are the perfect ornaments, especially if you're going for a themed Christmas tree. I only paid $4 for this pack of earrings, and you know, after Christmas, they're going to be super cheap on clearance. And just imagine if you're doing a Hello Kitty Christmas tree or a cartoon Christmas tree, earrings are the perfect way to get that theme. And lastly, I just raided my own jewelry box. I found this beaded bracelet that I'd never wear, so I'm going to cut that up and use those for ornaments. And on the end here, it has these little charms, which are going to make perfect little ornaments. Let's make these beads into ornaments. Now, this is essentially jewelry making. It is a bit tedious, but that is why we love making miniatures. You need 2 pairs of needle nose pliers, a sharp pair of wire cutters, a pair of tweezers. I'm going to use regular sewing pins for the little hooks of my ornaments. Now, you can use actual posts from the jewelry section. However, those are going to be way more expensive, and the stick pins are going to be just fine. There is no need to spend the extra money on the jewelry accessories. And again, we have our basic tiny beads, and these are essential for anchoring our larger beads to the pin. I'm just going to show you how to make a basic ornament, and then from there you can have fun just making all kinds of different ornaments in your own style. If you're using a bigger bead, you want to anchor that with a tiny bead at the end of your pin. And then you start stacking your beads. And this is the fun part. This is where you can be really creative and make unique ornaments. You can make them all the same. Doesn't matter. To make the hook, you want to put your first needle nose pliers at the top of your bead. Then you put your second needle nose pliers right on top of your first pliers, and then you're going to twist that pin all the way down. And now you're left with a really long hook. Take your wire cutters and shorten that hook, but don't make it too short because remember, this is the hook that's going to be on our branch. And make sure you cut the tip of that pin in a box or like inside your garbage so it doesn't go flying in your room and step on it later. That would be worse than stepping on a Lego. I didn't think anything could be worse, but now for the earrings, we're going to cheat a little bit. We are going to cut off the posts and we're going to glue those onto our tree. To make the ornaments from the pins with the little pearl ends, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put your needle nose pliers right to the top of your bead of the pin and fold over to make your hook. These mini ornaments are perfect for filler, and if you want the little bead to drop a little lower, just make your post a little longer. And after a nice, lazy, snowy afternoon, I made about 50 ornaments. And just when I thought I had enough, I had to make some more. And I made 3 sizes. So here are my larger ornaments, and they're all different. I got my medium size ones, all different colors and styles. And finally, I have my little tiny ornaments, and most of these are made from the pins. And again, these are really good filler for the tree. And it's really going to make everything come together and make it more realistic. And to help you hang your ornaments, I have a little pattern that will help you out. So I start with the large ornament, a medium ornament, and a small one. Here is my nice branch, and you can see that it has this nice gap underneath it so our ornaments can dangle. I'm going to start by putting my large ornament towards the inside of the tree, and just look at that dangle. And right next to that big ornament, I'm going to put my medium size ornament right in the middle of that branch. And again, look at it dangle. And on the very tip of our branch, we're going to put on our smallest ornament. So we have a nice row of ornaments on our branch. And finally, I just put a little dab of that tacky glue on those hooks so those ornaments don't fall. Now, my crafty dolls, don't these ornaments look real? It's all about the dangle. Now, you can follow this pattern for the whole tree, or you can just wing it and decorate the tree any way you'd like. Now for the earrings, we are going to cheat. We are going to glue these towards the inside of the tree, and we're going to attach them to the original bottle brush tree, or we can glue them right to the garland. Now it's time to make a hot cup of cocoa and trim the tree.
Here we are, as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once more. Through the years, we all will be together, if the fates allow. Hang a shining star above the highest bough.
My big traditional Christmas tree is all finished. Now we need a few accessories. And I'm just going to use an old doily, and that's going to be my tree skirt. I'm going to add a couple of presents for underneath the tree, and it's all done. My crafty dolls, look at this tree. What an amazing transformation. and it really wasn't too hard. It is very tedious, I am not going to lie, but it is worth it. The Christmas tree is the centerpiece of the home, and this is going to give your dollhouse that realistic look. So let's see what it looks like in the dollhouse. Now, here is a quick reminder of my sad little Christmas tree that I had before. And now, with a lot of Christmas magic, we transformed this tree into this magnificent Christmas tree. It looks so real. I am so happy with it. And the secret to getting that realistic look was the protruding branches and, of course, those ornaments dangling from those branches. They have to dangle. That is the key. And here is the Christmas tree with just the lights on. There is nothing like a dark room with just the Christmas lights on. And this really makes me want to make a whole bunch more of these. Which reminds me, I have to show you my little girl's Christmas tree and my kitchen Christmas tree. For my little girl's Christmas tree, I used only pink, red, and white ornaments, and I used white lights. And isn't this just the sweetest little Christmas tree for a little girl's room? Now, this tree is half the size of my other tree, but it is just perfect in here. I am absolutely amazed at these little trees and how realistic they look. Now, for my kitchen Christmas tree, I used gingerbread men for my ornaments and some candy, and I used a little mini tree. And here is how my little tree turned out. It is so cute. I have my little gingerbread men on here. I've got those candy earrings glued on there. And of course, I have some filler ornaments. And of course, those are dangling. Now, because the tree is so small, I'm going to embellish it a little bit and make a little baking scene for the kitchen. I'm going to start by putting my tree into an enameled pan. Now, if you want to learn how to make these, I have an older video and I teach you how to make these. So check those out. I'm going to start by gluing a little piece of styrofoam into the middle of the pan, and that's so the tree can sit up above the rim of the pan. And I'm just going to use some tacky glue and some moss, and I'm just going to fill in the pan and cover the styrofoam so I can get a really nice base for my Christmas tree. And just go ahead and use your trusty old hot glue and secure that tree right into the pan. And I'm going to use my leftover greenery, and I'm going to add some evergreen branches coming out from under the tree and cascading over the pan. And here is my gingerbread candy Christmas tree for the kitchen in its own little pot. So now I'm going to attach it to my kitchen table and put a little baking accessories on there too. And I've got my little kitchen table here. And because my tree is really top heavy, I want to make sure I secure it to the kitchen table. So I'm going to use my museum mounting putty, and I'm just going to use a little bit, put it right in the center of the kitchen table, and secure the little potted Christmas tree right to the center of the table. And now my Christmas tree is perfectly secure. I don't have to worry about it falling over. And the best part is that the putty is completely temporary. So when I want to remove my tree, I can do so, and it's not going to damage my kitchen table or the bottom of my pot. I'm going to add just a little bit more putty to the back of my cookie cookbook, and then I'm going to add a little bit to my rolling pin, and I have the perfect Christmas kitchen baking scene. And here is my cookie and candy Christmas tree for the kitchen. It is the perfect size. It's not too big, it's not too small. The only thing it's missing are lights, and unfortunately, they just don't make teeny tiny strings of lights. It's hard to pick a favorite, but out of the three I made today, I think this one is my favorite just because it's mini, mini, mini. All right, my crafty dolls, that is it for me today. I think we have a huge success here. I can't believe we turned this ugly bottle brush tree into these amazing Christmas trees. They look so real. And I'm sticking with it. This one is still my favorite, the little kitchen one with the gingerbread and candy on it. And just imagine the possibilities. So I have 7 rooms in my dollhouse. So of course, each one has to have a Christmas tree with a different theme. And I'm a huge Green Bay Packers fan. So I'm thinking I have to have a Green Bay Packer one. So I'm going to be on the lookout for some earrings. So that would really pull in my theme really, really well. Also, my mom has a Christmas tree that she has up all year round, and she decorates it for each holiday. So she's got Valentine's Day, she's got Easter, 4th of July, Halloween. It's up all year round. So that would be a really cool idea too, is to decorate a tree for each individual holiday, not just Christmas. So guys, let me know in the comments if you're going to make one of these trees, and let me know what theme you're going to choose. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like this video, because all of those things help this channel grow. I will see you soon, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye.